Hey, we're the Rob and Holly Show. This is another radio.com check-in with the one and only Hunter Hayes. What's up, man?
Hi,
Hey,
Hunter.
guys. Thanks for letting me hang out with you for a little bit. Appreciate it.
Well, thank you. And congratulations on the release of your song, by the way. This is so exciting. Tomorrow, the video comes out. Can you tell us about the video and what we can expect?
Yeah, the video was always, some songs you're just like, I don't know what the video should be. I don't want it to be too close to the song. I don't want it to just like, I don't want to try to explain the song with the video. Or sometimes you do, sometimes you feel like you have to. This was one of those where from the get-go, I was just like, this is easy. I want to play Gatsby. It's that simple. I want to feel like Gatsby. I want to play Gatsby. I just loved, to me, it felt like very close. It just felt like the song was, it's about missing somebody. It's about the sort of illusion, the dreamlike nature of missing only the good things about something and being stuck in that dream. And so I wanted it to feel that way. And I wanted it to feel, the whole, that like I got to wear a dope tux type situation and feel like a, just feel like that guy for a day. And it was great. Per usual, we filmed it on a day that was absolutely freezing. I don't know that I've ever done a video in decent weather. It's always been, abnormally cold. So it goes with tradition,
Well,
that is so great.
The video, you talked about connecting in a way the song to the video or not, but I do feel like the song does have like a classic feel to it, with the horns and things like that in it, it is a nice connection with the Gatsby thing. And I also noticed the cover as well. You are dressed up in the suit for like the cover of the song that I saw. And I was like, Hunter Hayes is bringing sexy back. You kind of reminded me of Justin Timberlake a little bit.
I was going for that. I was hoping someone would say that. So you've now completed the picture. So
nailed it.
It 100% works. And yeah, because I was like, oh, this is a kind of is this a new look? This tuxedo look? Are we going to see more of the tuxedo moving forward from now forevermore?
I think every song, what I'm paying attention to on this album, in the last album, it was the first time I had said, because before that, there's a little bit of, voting by committee that happens every now and then with an artist and a good team of people that you trust and you want to listen to. So the last album was the first one that I was like, this is the name of the album. This is the theme of the album. This is what I'm wanting to talk about and what I'm wanting to go into. And I kind of, Red Sky was an expansion of that, where I think every song has its own personality. I think every song has its own story, obviously, but I do think every song has its own character. And so I wanted to be good to that. I wanted to kind of just play with those characters and figure out what each song wanted to be and wants to say and wants to sort of look and feel like. And this one just, it had that sort of like the strings and the harp and the horns and the very like that cinematic nature. So I just wanted to have fun with that.
Is that scary, by the way, to do when you're like, this is 100% my decision making? Or is it scarier when you have like that committee that you're talking about when you're making creative decisions?
Man, I like there's a safety to that. And all being said, I think I learned the value of great feedback from people who care. And that is still worth its weight to me and still one of the most important things about our team and how we work. That said, I think you can lean on that a bit too much. And I think I found myself in this rut where I only ever thought about a song the way that the first response came back to be, which is really not healthy. And I think it also kept me from fighting for certain songs, because for a while, I mean, I love sharing this because I love other people sort of putting this into practice. But, I knew somebody's heartbreak should be a single. I felt like it was a hit when I got the demo back. I had to kind of fight for it to be a single. I also felt the same way about I Went Crazy. I felt great about that song being a radio single. And I got some pushback initially and I had to fight for it. And I also had to like prove it with the song itself. I had to go in and work on it and make it sound like the thing that I heard in my head. And so all that said, all that I'm getting to is how important it is to trust your gut and trust your instinct when you feel something. You don't have to make yourself believe something, But if you do believe something, you have to trust it. And I think that was part of Wild Blue. That's definitely a major lesson on Red Sky. So at some points it's terrifying to just walk in a room and say, guys, this is the first song, or hey, this is the next song. But it's also really fun to see everybody else like lean in when they know, when they believe you, and they trust you, and they're just like, okay, if you feel that good about it, then great. We feel good about it too. And it's amazing that the shift that happens after you sort of trust that and speak that, you know.
Well, I think your opinion holds a ton of weight in these rooms, no matter who you're talking to, because you are such an educated and incredible musician, and you play so many instruments. You know, you would think that everyone would be listening to what you have to say, because you're really the expert, right? Like,
I sincerely appreciate that. I don't know that I want to take all of those things as credit, but thank you. I will say, I mean, I do think there's a lot of stuff though that you should trust other people with, and their opinions and their perspective is really valuable. And I'm surrounded by people. I'm really lucky that at this point I'm surrounded by people, every one of whom I want to know how they see it and what they see. And I want to hear from them. So I think it goes a lot of different ways. And I think, you know, I agree and I disagree, you know.
Right.
Is
there anything that you're bad at though? Like, what was one thing? Name
Holly,
one thing that you're terrible at.
Didn't you have a list of instruments that you wanted to ask to see if you know how to play?
I was like, I Googled weirdest instruments. Like, what are the weirdest instruments? And I can't, an octobass. I was like, who can play an octobass? Can you?
I don't know what that is.
I know what it is.
What about?
I'm scared to Google it.
When I think of weird instruments, or actually it's not really weird, but it's just not common, that I think would be cool to try to play, is a didgeridoo. Have you ever played a didgeridoo?
Do you know how to play a didgeridoo? I don't. I never. No, I had to do that. That instrument came up last night in a conversation, and I did.
Really?
So I had to make it now. This was an opportunity.
Well, glad we got to give you a second chance at that.
But back to like, are you actually bad at anything? Because I just
God, you're so kind. I sincerely appreciate you framing it that way. Yeah, texting people back. I'm really bad at that.
Me too.
Or email.
Yep.
Or anything adult related. Being a grown up. I just refuse to surrender to that reality. I prefer to feed the kid inside, and to be the kid inside. I think that's where I make my best music. So I don't know.
Yeah.
That's my excuse.
It's working for you. Don't change that. Yeah. That's great.
You obviously have, you were involved in music since you were born, and then you were like, here I am, I'm on the stage and everything. So, being in it at such a young age, and maybe having to grow up a little bit quicker than most people, I think it's important that you hold on to that. Right. So like, what, if you were to give yourself some advice, now knowing what you know now, back then, what would you tell yourself, your younger self?
Man, there's so much. I always start with, I'm really grateful for the fact that as an only child, as a young kid, I found a way to express myself in a very therapeutic way. And I found a way to put life experiences into art, and it has its own life after I'm finished with it, So I'm very grateful for that. But at the same time, I do think it comes with challenges in self-worth. I lived a lot of, seasons and chapters trying to figure out where that worth came from, and how is it connected to, because it's obviously connected to the thing I'm making a thing based on my life and my experience, and how much of myself I put in it is definitely another thing to measure. Am I being honest with the world? Am I lying about my experiences to try to fit in more? Am I, all those things. So trying to find my own version of where the self-worth is attached to what I do, and where it really shouldn't be, or it shouldn't be based on any kind of, numbers or even bits of feedback or opinions or things like that. So if I were to go back and tell young me any of those things, I would have a long conversation about that. I don't know that I can fit that into a sentence properly, but I would definitely have a conversation about that.
Right.
No, that makes sense. I'm an only child too. Do you feel like being an only child helped you be the person that you're creatively, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Do you feel like that helped you?
Absolutely. Yeah. Because I had no one to talk to, so I had to make music. And I, seriously, I mean, and still to this day, it happened this past, like, like in the past week, I went through another one of those like little seasons, or like, it's kind of like weather, like it changes and it can be per day, but I went through one of those little storms where I was just like, I gotta write, and I gotta get all this out, and I did, I'm so, again, very grateful for that chance for that as a thing that I can do, and I definitely think that being an only child contributed to that for sure.
Yeah.
What would you say has so far? Do you think this upcoming record is the most personal and the most truthful, as you talked about?
Wild Blue set the standard for personal and honest, which I love, and it allowed me to sort of like let that be the bar, and then I think now, it's more adventurous. It explores a lot more territory, and it feels like a road trip. That's what I've been calling it. Like if Wild Blue is the planning stage, Red Sky is getting in the car and getting on the road and going and doing it. And which I actually did. I got in a car and drove to California. So in a lot of ways it kind of manifested that, but it also is going even, I wouldn't say like deeper, because deeper sounds kind of dark, but it does go further. It goes further into just all of the directions, topic wise, and if you change your mind is a great example. That's kind of an embarrassing thing to admit. Like, definitely not over it, still living in it. You know what I mean? When I said I was over it, and I said I was fine. So I love that. I love that there's moments like that, and you'll hear other songs on the record, and hopefully be surprised with the level of honesty. But yeah, it's more of those things. It's putting those lessons into practice.
So If You Change Your Mind is out now, and the video is premiering tomorrow on MTV, which is super cool.
I'm really excited about that as well. That came just recently, and the word reached me over the weekend, and I was very, very excited about that.
Yeah, I think there's definitely something special about music videos that just is an extension to the song. Like I remember watching music videos all the time, and it was like you would have favorite music videos. Like they'd be like, "Oh, this is the best one." So we're excited for that. Rob and I were arguing whether or not you would watch the Grammys the other night. Yeah, did you?
I did.
Well, you have quite a few.
Well, I mean, he's been nominated. Yeah.
So we're wondering, and this is maybe it's a little bit of people are 50-50 on this. About the biggest topic the other night was Cardi B, Megan Thee Stallion performance was, we would call it, now that I'm a dad, I was like, I feel like an old person. I feel like an old man now, because I'm watching it and going like, this is so risque, and they shouldn't show that on TV. It's on CBS. So just wondering what your thoughts were on that.
Well, I'm going to be completely honest with you. I missed that performance of all of them. So I watched literally almost every other part of the show, as far as I know.
Yeah,
I missed that one performance. So I'm afraid I'm not useful in this conversation.
But what was your favorite performance then? That's the one everyone's talking about. But did you have a favorite?
I loved a lot of them. And I loved, I was just talking to somebody about this. I love that the barriers have been broken for the performances. Like oh my God, I also love the in the round concept. I thought that was a really clever idea, and it was really well executed, really well done. And for something that could have been really awkward, when other artists are just like done with their performance, watching other artists, like very, very often I find myself making weird faces, just like because I'm playing the music with them. In my mind, I'm like, I'm singing. So I look mad, but I'm enjoying myself. And I was just really relieved to see that it felt very unifying too. It felt very, it just felt like everybody was coming together, and it felt very pure. which I
Mhm.
really, really loved.
Mhm.
And I loved the things that happened off not on a stage. The performances that were so beautifully theatrical and communicated the messages, because of the fact that it wasn't just on a corner of a stage in an arena, that people have seen the same things for 30 years. I just love how dynamic the show was because of that.
Mhm.
So as somebody who loves performances and is obsessed with what, the changes that have happened over the last year in our understanding as an audience, watching a performance, whether it be a live stream or some filmed performance, or the barriers have just been broken, and I just love that. There's just so much more that you can do with performances now because of that, and I love that.
And you make a really good point, a lot of good points there with that, and I appreciate all the positivity that you brought out of it, because like I was saying, there could be, you could go a negative route with it based on some of the things that might have been, a little risky for CBS, but I love how you got a great positive spin on it. So
I just want to say they did say that about Madonna back in the day. They were like, "Oh my God, Madonna was so crazy." Like when she performed, I think it was the VMAs or Grammys or something like that. And so I just feel like it just kind of always, it's just
we're progressing.
It progresses. That's what I'm trying to say. So it's the same.
Well, Hunter, man, we appreciate you catching up with us on our radio.com check-in. Super excited about the song and the video, which again is out tomorrow. So everyone make sure to go watch it.
Thank you, man. Thanks for letting me join you guys. Thanks for the chat. Enjoyed it thoroughly. Thank you.
We did too.
Absolutely.
And thank you for the music, by the way, and congratulations on everything. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Cheers.
We'll talk to you soon. Thanks, Hunter.
Bye, Hunter.
Thank you, guys.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for watching. If you liked the video, make sure to like and subscribe and hit that bell for all notifications from radio.com. While you're at it, why don't you check out some of our other great videos.